Hey everybody, my name is Brandon. Welcome back to Cinefessions, where we talk all things media. So not only was January a really good month for just kind of random, new to me movie pickups, but it was also a really strong month for, again, random other media pickups. I have a board game in today's haul. I have collectibles, CDs in here, movie soundtracks, plus some graphic novels. So all over the place. Basically, today is everything else in the world of media that I picked up last month. And so this one should be fun. Before we get into it though, if you guys have a quick second, please hit that like button down below. That engagement really does help me out. But with that said, let's not waste any more time at all. Let's dive right in to the other media that I picked up in the month of January. So this first one here is actually one that turns out I already had it in my collection, but it's still a pretty cool pickup. So even though it's a duplicate, I'm going to show you guys. This is Seven, the original motion picture soundtrack. So this one has some Statler brothers on it, Gravity Kills, Marvin Gaye is on here, Gloria Lynn, and so much more. So Seven is a fantastic movie, so I'm always happy to add a really cool movie soundtrack to the collection. So it was only $1, so I'm not too terribly torn up about the fact that I already have it in there. I'll just keep whichever one looks better and I'll get rid of the other one. But yeah, so the first pickup today is Seven, the original motion picture soundtrack. And then let me just stick with it here because the other soundtrack I picked up on CD for $1, again in the clearance bin. Both of these were from Second & Charles. Music from the motion picture Ed TV. This is a film I really enjoy with Ed Harris in it, or Woody Harrelson in it rather, not Ed Harris. But this has Bon Jovi, Barry White, Bare Naked Ladies is in here, who I love. Corner Shop, Otis Redding. I'm trying to see if there's any other names I recognize. Al Green is in here as well. You can see the whole track listing there. But yeah, this is a really great movie. I thoroughly enjoyed this the one time I saw it, so I figured, yeah, let's grab the motion picture soundtrack because why not? So yeah, I thought that was cool. I always like picking up soundtracks, especially when they are $1 or less. I love adding to the collection at a cheap price. So Ed TV plus Seven, 2 new soundtracks for the collection. Well, 1 duplicate and 1 new one. So speaking of clearance items, I actually went over to FYE and they had some things on clearance that were pretty cool. So the first one here is actually a mystery bag that I figured I would open on camera with you guys. This is going to be a mystery bag from Star Wars Return of the Jedi. So you can see the list of possible outcomes there. I don't care which one it is, frankly, but I figured I'd open it with you guys so I could see what it is that I got. And you can see this is normally $7. $2, which is really the only price I want to pay for these. I don't want to spend a lot. So let's get this guy. I can't open it. Let me get my knife out here so I can open it up. All right, so we are opened up now. Let's see which character I ended up with. Oh, okay. Very good. Looks like we got the Scout Trooper. So not bad at all. Probably one of the lamer ones to get out of this bunch, to be honest with you. I wish it was like Akbar, or they have Princess Leia in here, like the Bouche version. Lando would have been awesome. Is what it is. For $2, I'm not going to be too upset about it. So yeah, that is what ended up on of the Star Wars Return of the Jedi mystery. What are these called? Character bag clips. That's what they're called. And then the other collectible I picked up from FYE on clearance. Honestly, I took the sticker off. I don't remember how much it was, but it was cheap. I found Captain Blake from, as you can see there, The Fog. John Carpenter's The Fog. So another one for my Toonie Terrors collection, which is not huge over there, but I have maybe probably close to 10 now, I guess. And so yeah, this is one I didn't have, and I really wanted it because The Fog was a movie that the first time I saw it, I didn't really like it that much, but then I watched it again and I realized how wrong I was. That movie is phenomenal. I love that film now. And so definitely wanted to grab Captain Blake from the Toonie Terrors line. I just think it's really cool. So I'm always happy to add a cheap Toonie Terrors to the collection. All right, so let's move over to a couple of Funko Pops I grabbed. This first one here was from GameStop. It's actually a GameStop exclusive. You guys know I'm a huge wrestling fan. Paul Heyman, the greatest speaker in pro wrestling history, and I will hear no arguments otherwise. He's just the GOAT. And so I was very happy to find Heyman at GameStop. I have a not a huge collection of wrestling pops, but I want like my favorites of all time. And Paul Heyman is absolutely one of my all-time favorites. And it's really cool because it's actually, you can't see it, but it's the ECW. It's the ECW wrestling hat he's wearing on there. So it's ECW Paul Heyman, which is just phenomenal. I was a huge ECW fan back in the day. Like, this is so cool. I was so happy that GameStop put this one out. So Paul Heyman is now in my wrestling Funko Pop collection, thanks to GameStop. Really happy to add this one. So the last collectible I grabbed last month is one that, honestly, I ordered it like in the summer of 2022, and it took this long to get in. So ridiculous. It kept getting delayed and pushed back for whatever reason, but finally it arrived at my doorstep, and it's from the Bob's Burgers movie. This, of course, is the Amazon exclusive Bob with Burger Cart. And you can see on there it says Bob Burger, which I just absolutely love. So there is a full 4K review of the Bob's Burgers movie here on the channel. So check that out if you're interested, but I loved it. And so I am so happy to have this. What's funny is that when I actually first purchased this, I had never even seen the movie. I didn't realize what this was referencing. Fortunately, I've seen the movie now more times than I can count, thanks to my beautiful little girl who watches it all the time, but I love it. And so I'm so happy that I ended up pre-ordering this one. So we have Bob with Cart, and I love it. It's one of the big ones. I don't have big Funkos. This is maybe I might have a Godzilla one that's larger in size, but this is by far the biggest Funko Pop I have. And I couldn't be happier that it's Bob's Burgers related. So very thrilled that I finally received number 1224, Bob with Burger Cart. I actually ended up finding one board game last month as well. I was at Target, and you guys know if you shop at Target, they've been having a ton of clearance items, and a lot of board games have been on clearance. But for whatever reason, this one spoke to me when I was there that night, so I had to pick it up. This is Alien, Fate of the Nostromo. So this is one, like, I spent like $8 on this. It was ridiculously cheap. So I figured, yeah, I'll pick it up. But first off, I just love this because it's like the original poster art, which looks fantastic. But this is actually, I want to say this is 1 to 3. Yeah, 1 to 5 players. And so I think you play it co-op, if I'm not mistaken. So this is one that my wife and I will try out eventually. I love board games. We just don't play them too terribly often. So hopefully we can get to this one before our paternity leaves are up here. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Like I said, this has probably been on clearance before, but that night it just spoke to me, so I picked it up. And I'm excited to see how it is. I was looking at some reviews of it before I did grab it, and it has pretty high reviews. It's like 7 out of 10s. Pretty much across the board on different board game websites. So should be fun. I like co-op games a lot. So I'm really looking forward to checking out Alien, the Fate of the Nostromo. I thought this was a pretty cool board game to add to the collection. All right, so let's wrap this up with the graphic novels that I picked up. And all of these came courtesy of Ollie's. So I ended up getting like a 15% off coupon from Ollie's. And so I went wild because they had a bunch of new graphic novels there. In fact, I might have some footage I can overlay over this a little bit. But anyway, I first ended up grabbing 4 books of Preacher. So this is written by Garth Ennis and Steve Dillon, and I've read the first volume of Preacher, and I gave it 5 out of 5 stars on Goodreads, so I really loved it. So when I saw that these were there, I grabbed as many as I could. So this is, I ended up grabbing book 2. I'm going to go through these as quickly as possible. This is book 3. And then they didn't have book 4, unfortunately, but I did grab book 5 and book 6. So I ended up grabbing 2, 3, 5, and 6 from the Preacher line, which is awesome. So I now have all but, I think, book 4, and I think there's book 7, if I'm not mistaken. I think there are 7 books in total. Now, these contain like 2 volumes each, if I'm not mistaken. And so this is really good. Like, I would love to have the entire series in this format, just so it's all uniform. Now, honestly, I couldn't remember if I owned any of these already, because I know these have been at Ollie's in the past, and I don't think I ended up picking any of them up, at least not that I've been able to find yet. So I don't know. I thought these were cool. And these are let me see, the normal price on these are $19.99. So these are normally $20. These are marked down to $5 at Ollie's. So that's why I figured buy all 4 because it's the price of 1. Like, why not? So yeah, I thought that was really cool. And then of course 15% off. So these are the first 4 I ended up grabbing. Books 2, 3, 5, and 6 of Preacher by Garth Ennis. Ollie's also had a bunch of like omnibus collections, a bunch of Gold Age and Bronze Age omnibus collections from like Teen Titans, Wonder Woman, Batman, Superman, and those were really cool, but they were like 30 to 40 bucks a pop, and honestly, I just don't love that era of comics. There is so much dialogue that I don't end up reading it. So I decided to skip on those and get something I thought I would actually read, like this one here. This is Justice League by Jeff Johns, and it's actually like a hardcover collection of the first 3 volumes of this. So I've not read any of Jeff Johns' Justice League, and I don't have any of it in my collection. So I thought this would be really cool. And you can see $12.99. This is normally a $50 set here. I paid $13 for it, minus 15%, so even better. So like, that's awesome. I'm looking forward to checking this out. I love these characters. I love the art style on this, so I have high hopes that I'm going to enjoy these 3 volumes, and then I can continue on. I don't have any idea how long this run is or anything like that, but I figured, yeah, let's pick this up for a really great price. So for $13, a $50 set, that's awesome. Justice League Volumes 1, 2, and 3 by Jeff Johns. All right, so you guys know I had to save the best for last. So not only do they currently, as of filming, have omnibus collections at Ollie's, but they also have a handful of absolute editions. Well, the 2 I saw at my local Ollie's was a Preacher, I think it was Volume 2 Absolute, but they also had Absolute Superman and Batman Volume 2. This thing is amazing. It's gigantic. So I'll put it up next to the Justice League collection. These are normal sized graphic novels. That's how much bigger it is. It is so much bigger. I cannot wait to dive into this. So unfortunately, it's volume 2 and not volume 1. So this is issues 14 through 26 of Superman, Batman. And this is written by, I think, yeah, Jeff Loeb. So I don't think I have the first two, like, I guess this would be volume 1 and volume 2. I don't have that, which would be volume 1 of the Absolute. This would be volume 3 and volume 4. So I do have to get the first 2 volumes. I'm not going to spend the money on an Absolute. I know I won't, because this is normally $100. And I spent $30 minus 15%. What an amazing deal. Ollie's is so cool when they have really good stuff like this. So yeah, I cannot wait to dive into this and see what it's all about. I love this. This is my only Absolute edition that I've ever had from DC, and I'm so happy I was able to find it. I've not only gotten my first ever omnibus from Ollie's, I've now gotten my first ever Absolute edition, which is just so cool. Like, I am so thrilled to have this thing in my collection. I cannot wait to read it. But of course, I do have to read volumes 1 through 13 before I dive into volume 14, because that just, it won't make as much sense to me. So yeah, but either way, this is fantastic. $100 book I got for $30 minus 15%. You just can't beat that. So the last one for today is Absolute Superman Batman Volume 2 by Jeff Loeb. All right, so that was everything else I picked up. That was the all things media that I picked up in the month of January. And I think this is a pretty fun stack of collectibles and just random stuff. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it as well. And I would love to hear from you down in the comments below. Have you been to your local Ollie's recently, and did you find anything cool? Did you pick up any of those Golden Age or Bronze Age omnibus collections? I'd love to hear about it. And anything else you grabbed in the world of media, let me know down in the comments below. I love hearing any and all comments down there. So thanks so much for all that support. But as always, guys, if you enjoyed this one, please hit that like button down below. That engagement really does help me out. If you didn't like it, thumbs down. That lets me know something as well. Something I need to change. And like I always say, guys, I don't just talk media as displayed here. I don't just talk one media type, I should say. I talk all things media. Books, movies, video games, graphic novels, manga, records. If it's media related, I'm interested in it. And if you are too, you might consider subscribing. All right, guys, so that's going to do it for today. I just want to say thank you all so much for watching. And I want to encourage you to consume some media today. I'll catch you next time.